What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to yet another edition of Pantherology. Welcome to tonight's stream. Thank you for everyone that's coming in and joining in. Make sure as you're coming in, you pound that like button and that subscribe button. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that, guys. I had to shut the door. I had to take care of my dog real quick. Oh, Lord. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, I hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday. Happy hump day to everyone. As everyone is coming, make sure you pound that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content that I'm putting out there. Obviously, get in the comment section amongst yourselves. Y'all know how to take care of the rest. Make sure you pound that like button. Sorry, I am just getting some stuff together to here. I think I'm lagging a little bit, if I'm not mistaken here. None of the above. The head coach should be Ken Dorsey. We need to draft a QB round 1. Enough of this Rhule, Darnold, Teddy, Baker crap. Okay. Ken Dorsey. Interesting. And I didn't really even think about him, but that could be an interesting guy we could target. The Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. Not a bad idea. I'm not opposed to that, Jared Patterson. But anyways, yeah. So let's just let's get right into it. All right. So first things first is can the Carolina Panthers turn it around? Like, that's the first question that's on here, right? I mean, I can tell you what they need to do. I can tell you what they should do. I can tell you multiple things. That doesn't mean that they're going to do it, right? But apparently they have made one change, or there's a possibility that they could be changing it up with the kick return situation after the whole Chuba Hubbard, fumbled that opening kickoff against the Giants, last Sunday. Apparently it looks like Shi Smith will be returning punts in the game and could be considered in the kickoff returns as well. But one other option could also be Laviska Shenault, who has been inactive the first 2 games, following his trade from Jacksonville. So that's a little bit of an update on that. So it sounds like it's going to be Shi Smith doing punt returns and kick returns. And then we also might see Laviska Shenault as well in the kick return. Does not say anything about him returning punt returns. Now, apparently, the Panthers are going to plan on getting more receivers involved in this offense, which is as they should. Which they should have when Shi Smith was already questionable. And then especially with the fact that Terrace Marshall is basically a piece of glass and can break at any moment. And also, we've all been questioning why haven't we seen Rashad Higgins when he's played with Baker Mayfield for the past 4 years, and he's probably the most comfortable wide receiver out of the group that probably fits in with the scheme with, Baker and everybody else. So why haven't we seen Rashad Higgins? And especially when last week when Shi Smith was dropping all these, dropping a lot of these target passes that he dropped last week. And he was questionable to be in this game anyway. So, everybody's wondering, where's Rashad Higgins? Where's Terrace Marshall? Why hasn't Laviska Shenault been in? Well, Laviska Shenault has been inactive due to the fact that he's not up to date on the playbook. Rashad Higgins, I haven't heard any reason why he's not playing. And Terrace Marshall just can't stay healthy is basically what my understanding is. Now, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Shi Smith have been the only receivers to see action, as we know thus far. But we have to find ways to get these other receivers on the field. Higgins had a strong showing in training camp. He made a few catches in the preseason. Given his prior history with Baker Mayfield, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense as to why he's not involved in the game. I honestly think Rashad needs some opportunity to play. And Matt Rhule did say that we could be seeing these Rashad Higgins on the field this week. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here is I was watching an interview. It was a podcast, and the person was interviewing Jonathan Stewart, and I think it was Julian Council off of the Locked On Panthers podcast, and I was listening to it for a minute. Jonathan Stewart was on there saying that this team has everybody should have known that it was going to take 3 years with Matt Rhule, and that this team doesn't have an identity, but he did say that we should hold off on Matt Rhule and basically, hold off on firing Matt Rhule and, keep him around. And, Jonathan Stewart has been, one of the people I grew up watching, obviously, with this Panthers team. He's also was with that dynamic duo, Batman and Robin, with D'Angelo Williams, shake and bake, which however you want to call them, right? Thunder, lightning, But the comments that he was making on this podcast didn't make sense to me. Like saying like we knew it was going to take 3 years. Like, I don't think it takes 3. I mean, maybe it does in the NFL. Maybe we're not like. I mean, think about it in college. It takes about 2 years, right, to put everything together. And year 3 should be the year. But yeah, Brandon Hatcher, double trouble. Thank you. There was another one. There's always like with those two guys back in the day. It was always so many different dynamic duo nicknames for them. But I just like the Carolina legend. I just didn't feel like he was saying the right things, and maybe he was just trying to bring some positivity. But we have no idea. This team has no identity. This team doesn't look. The offense doesn't look like they know what they're doing. The defense doesn't look like they know what they're doing. Phil Snow is dropping back one of the best pass rushers in the NFL into coverage 16 times in one game. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, it's just insane, that it doesn't make any sense. And then for him to sit there and say, well, we knew it was going to take at least 3 years for him to get it. So you're telling me we should keep him for one more year and then see what happens year 4? Basically it was what Jonathan Stewart was saying. And that just that just doesn't make sense to me. All right. It just doesn't. I mean, there's, this is the stat that I see with this team right now under Matt Rhule, that the one that really gets me is that we're on a 9-game losing streak dating back to last season. That's number one. So right now we are just the laughing stock, I feel like, of the NFL right now. And, so 9 straight losses. He's 10-25 overall in the NFL. We are 1-25 under Matt Rhule when we allow 17 plus points. And we've led in 17 of the last 19 games. And we've gone 5 of 12 in those games. I don't understand how that makes sense to keep a person around like that. It's like the best way I can think about it is the best way I can still think about it, this whole thing is it's like a toxic relationship. Yeah, the sex is good. The sex is real good, right? She keeps drawing you back in. Oh, saying, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean that. Here, let me make love to you. And then guess what happens again? It happens again, and it happens again, and it's over and over, and there's fight after fight, and then things go crazy. And then next thing you know, it's out the door. It's boring. And then this team's boring to watch. Am I wrong? Am I the only one that thinks that this team is so boring to watch right now? Like, it's not even fun to watch anymore. Right? I'm going to go through the comments here and post them up, everyone. Everybody that posts a comment, I'm going to start showing every one of everybody's comments. So make sure you get in the comment section so you get your nice little shout out up here. But anyways, that's the best way I can think about it. It's like a toxic relationship. David Tepper's the guy. Matt Rhule's the girl. Matt Rhule's the toxic girlfriend that just keeps drawing you back in with sex. And then it gets to a point where you have to make a decision to walk away. And you just got to know when to walk away. Right? James S550 says it's dry. Yeah, we're not even getting any foreplay, You're going down there playing with it. Next thing you know, nothing's coming out of it. So, yeah, it's boring to watch. It's not even fun to watch. And that was like, and I know last week when I was on my live stream for the game on Sunday doing the live play-by-play, which I will be there this Sunday. Yeah, it's just, that's why I had to but I got off. I had to. Double trouble. Love it. Stewart said he came into an identity and we don't have one. Yeah, we don't have one. So why would you keep a guy around like that? Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it, guys. It's like a toxic relationship. I don't know if any of y'all been in one, but I have, and I know how it goes. Trust me. You need to learn when to walk away. Trust me. And that's the best way I can describe this. Yes, there is a report out there. I'm going to talk about that, Elijah, a little bit. There's a report out there that these guys just they're not a fan of Matt Rhule. They don't like Matt Rhule right now. He's a hype guy, right? He just tries to hype these guys up. He's a player's coach, right? Like Rex Ryan was. Rex Ryan was a player's coach. That's the best way I think of Matt Rhule too. Rex Ryan didn't win a lot of games either. And the last time that we made the playoffs and we were 0-2 to start the season, the last time we were 0-2 to start the season under Matt Rhule, we went on a 3-game winning streak. Okay. Whoopie freaking do. After that, we ended up the year 5-12. Okay. The last time we made the playoffs after the first 2 weeks in the season, 1996, we were 2-0. 2003, we were 2-0. 2005, we were 1-1. 2008, we were 2-0. 2013, we were 0-2. All right. 2014, we were 2-0. 2015, 2-0. 2017, 2-0. Matt Rhule will need to do something that's only been accomplished once in the past 27 seasons. I think our guys are pretty resilient. Our team is, the players. And then that points out the 0-2 start in 2020 that was followed up by a 3-game winning streak. So there is some four major, but there is some concerns, right? I mean, we all have the concerns, and I guess that was the reason why Jonathan Stewart was trying to be on there. He was trying to be very, I don't know, just trying to keep us as Panther fans positive, and I think that's the reason why he was saying the things that he was saying. And I mean, I don't see how, I'm trying to find the silver lining. I'm trying to find the silver lining. But after all this, and it's really hard. As you guys are coming in, make sure you pound that like button. Appreciate everyone coming in and showing your support tonight, as always. There's 13 people in here, 14 people in here. We got 13 likes, so let's get that up to 14. I'd love to get this video. If we could get this stream up to 50 likes, I would greatly appreciate that, guys. Just 50 likes. It's free. You don't have to do anything else. Also, make sure you check the link down in the description. BetUSA.com. Use the link right there. Same thing like this. BetUSA, 125% sign up bonus. Because of you guys, that's how we got our first sponsorship, brand deal, however you want to call it. So thank you to you guys. I'm thankful for you guys for this. Now I'm looking at the polls here. There's 9 votes in, and there's 15 people in here. Get on that poll. I have who should be the Carolina Panthers next head coach. I put the 4 guys that I would like to see take a chance at Carolina. Looks like Steve Wilkes. I have Eric Bieniemy. It's between in that poll. It's Eric B, Brian Flores, Byron Leftwich, Steve Wilkes. But I did like this guy's comment, the Jared Patterson, who is a subscriber. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. None of the above. He said none of the above in my vote, which that's fine. We all can agree to disagree. But he said the next head coach should be Ken Dorsey. If you don't know who Ken Dorsey is he is the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. And you can obviously see what's going on over there right now. So I like that. We need an offensive mind coach no matter what. Right. I'm trying to find I had this certain I had a bunch of whatchamacallits. I had a bunch of questions and I can't find them. I had them all typed up and ready to go in my notes. Here they are. Sweet. So basically, the number one question I think right now, let me get in these comments because a lot of these comments are actually pretty funny. There was a report about players having a problem with Phil Snow's defense. Yes, I am going to talk about that. There is problems. I mean, it makes no sense to drop your best pass rusher on the team, there, Brian Burns, in the coverage 16 times in one game. Especially when he was going up against Evan Neal, who was a rookie right tackle that the New York Giants drafted. We should have been cooking him all day long and bringing pressure with Brian Burns and not sitting there and just. It made no sense, man. It just made no sense. Made no sense. Wow, 17 likes, guys. All right, 30. We got 33 likes to go. 50 likes. Let's get 50 likes. Steve Wilkes also has a problem with Phil. Steve Wilkes also has a problem with Phil Snow running a 3-3-5. I don't mind the 3-3-5, but it might not. The scheme just might not fit in Carolina with these guys, right? That's just one thing. Like the offense that Ben Mcadoo might just not fit for Baker Mayfield, Christian McCaffrey in this offensive line and this offense. You can't just be throwing offensive schemes and defensive schemes at these guys and say, all right, well, let's just see if this works. It's like throwing shit at the wall and see if it sticks, right? Just doesn't work that way. Not in the NFL. You better hope that everything works with everybody. Like this scheme better work with everybody. You should know these players. Like when you're scouting who to bring in, and I think with the whole Baker Mayfield thing, they rushed to go out and get him. They were just like, we got to get a guy in here. Just a better guy than Sam Darnold. You know? I think it seems like this coaching staff and David Tepper and everybody's just throwing shit and see if it sticks, right? That's basically what I'm getting out of all this. As you're coming in, make sure you pound that like button for me, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you for everybody coming in and showing your support to the live stream tonight. Going to be on here for at least an hour, so come hang out, stay around, stick around for a while. Why would Matt Rhule have any success? He didn't do jack in college. Please help me understand why he was the choice. I mean, listen, man, he did pretty well in college. I can't deny that. I can't deny that the guy did bad. If you go look at what his years in college, he did very well. I mean, yes, his first two in college, your first 2 seasons are going to be, depending on who you're taking over after, it's not going to be, the first season is not going to be sunshine and rainbows, but let's go look up his coaching history. Because I think because when he started coaching, let's see. All right, Temple, he was there 2013 through 16. That's right. Steve Adazio. That's who left for Boston College. I remember him. Okay. So he signed a 4-year extension with Temple. All right. After he had a tremendous 3rd year with them at Temple. Then he was targeted to go to Missouri, Syracuse, but just remained at Temple. He beat Penn State that year back in 2015, and that was their first win over the Nittany Lions since like 1941. And he took Temple to a 10-2 regular season, which is, I know that that's in the American Conference, but that school, it's not a football school. It's just not. So, then he goes over to Baylor, goes 1-11. Then he goes over, then in 2018, he goes 6-6. And then he wins a bowl game. And then he goes 11-1, 2019 season. Then fell to Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. And then fell to Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. So the only problem is Rhule's teams have never defeated a ranked team. But I guess they thought that he was going to be, good enough to be a college coach just because, for what reason? I don't know. I think it's just because they saw that he could take a program that was not a big, huge football school like Temple and then bring it on up. Like Temple, he brought Temple to a 10-2 record, and then did the same thing at Baylor after, they were left in a shit mess, right? Maybe that's the reason why they brought it in. I don't know. we built the defense the wrong way. You need a strong front seven. I don't think our front seven's the problem. I think the scheme that the front seven is forcing them to run is the problem. Or the scheme that Phil Snow is running is the problem. Front seven wins championships. Absolutely. Roy Bowman says Sean Payton. B. Amos says Deion Sanders. So I know we all have got questions. So what's Matt Rhule? So why is Matt Rhule still the Carolina Panthers head coach, right? I think this is one that everybody is wondering. Like, why is Matt Rhule still the head coach of this team? I think, number one, they went after David. I think David Tepper wanted to make a huge announcement hire after firing Ron Rivera at the end of the 2019 season. Then he did so by hiring Matt Rhule with a massive 7-year contract with the idea that the Carolina Panthers would be a long rebuild. That's basically what I'm getting at it from or out of this whole situation. Now the question has now rise to David Tepper is like, how patient can he be? And one of the first things that David Tepper said that he wanted to do was bring a strong culture within this organization. Now he's in his 5th year as the owner. The franchise has yet to establish a winning record since 2017. And I'll be the first one to admit that I was a fan of the Rhule hiring, all right? And I have defended him as a coach for a good year and a half. And I'm sure others were doing the same too. I'm probably not the only one out there. The idea behind the whole Matt Rhule hiring basically was they were hiring thinking, okay, well, if he could do this at, like I said, they thought if he could do this at Temple, take a team that went 1-11, then went 6-6, then won a bowl game, beat Penn State, then went 10-2, then he went to Baylor, went 1-11, went 6-6, won a bowl game, then went 11-1, lost in the championship, but he could just always rebuild these teams up. Maybe he could do it in the NFL. The problem is that the NFL is not college football. There's a lot of hope, I think, in this team because of how close the Panthers have came to winning games. The problem is these close winning games just continue, or these close lost games just continue to happen. And it's a prime example from this past Sunday against the New York Giants. All right. Now, the Panthers don't have a Panthers problem. The Panthers have a Rhule problem. Elijah Meek says he built a pretty talented roster. Yes, he did. He did build a talented roster, I think. Are you nervous about the Panthers being possibly moved out of Carolina? Or do you think the Panthers stay in Carolina? Some think Tepper is losing on purpose to move the team eventually. I just don't know where he would move it to. I feel like how many teams do you want to have in certain areas? Like, LA's got 2 teams. Texas already has what? Dallas, Houston. How many? Where would he move them to? That's just my question. You got 2 teams in New York. You got 2 teams in Texas. You got 2 teams in California. You got 1 in Seattle. You got 1 in Kansas, Missouri. You got one in Cincinnati, Ohio. You got two in Florida, Jacksonville, and is there only one in Florida? No, Miami. Sorry. Good Lord. So it's like, where would you move them to? Because like New York's got two teams. That's a big city. LA's a big city. Dallas and Houston's a big city. Where would you move the Carolina Panthers? That's the question. Like, I think Charlotte's is a good, beautiful city. I love Charlotte. I would live in Charlotte, honestly. I've been thinking about it. I haven't decided where I want to live yet. Waiting for this economy to go down to actually find a better place to live. I'm not saying where I live now is bad by any means, but just want to get out of where I live now. But that's neither here nor there. But, I just don't know where you would move it. So if anybody can answer that question for me, where would you want if David Tepper did move him, where do you think he would move him? That's my question to you. He can't just get the quarterback situation right and coach. I guess it's just too hard to ask. The lack of discipline in football for the last 2 years is just absolutely baffling to me. He's created competition at the positions that shouldn't have had them during when they, positions that shouldn't have had them during training camp, creating a lack of chemistry with the first team offense through 2 games. He even threw in Cam Newton under the bus multiple times last season when filling in for Sam Darnold. I'll put it to you basically as straightforward as possible. The Panthers are starting to look like a college program instead of an NFL franchise. With how Rhule has made this team look mediocre as hell. The personnel on both sides of the ball. And he's definitely micromanaging this team. He has to be micromanaging this team. A 10-25 record in the last 2 seasons, plus the first 2 games of the 2020 of this season, isn't going to cut it. I think Rhule's hourglass is about to end. Like that hourglass, that sand is just going down, 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 and there's about that much left hanging on. As terrible as this may sound, guys, if this team isn't able to win over the next couple weeks, expect the third to be. Expect Matt Rhule to be either the top candidate for Nebraska or Arizona State, or he's going to be under Nick Saban. And you mark my words on that. Now, where's the disconnect? Now, the next question is because I know that everybody's asking this, where is the disconnect on this offense? For the last few years, guys, it seems to be that no matter what quarterback or offensive coordinator it is, we cannot, for the life of us, have a consistent, decent offense. We have we've always had recently a terrible O-line, but even with improvements, but even with improvements and upgrades, this team, the Carolina Panthers offense just remains absolutely god awful. And there's a couple factors as to why that is. There's rustiness and chemistry issues. The other is inconsistency from a discipline standpoint. and a fundamental standpoint. Trebo, Surfside is very nice. I live in Myrtle. It's only like 20 minutes away from me, 15 minutes away from me where I live. The area is nice, so don't be worried about it. Don't be nervous. Good spot. Near Murrells Inlet. Murrells Inlet's a good spot. I feel like this group is like this offense is still meshing well together. I think they can mesh well together. And I think it's because Matt Rhule's decision of creating that open competition, especially in the critical spots such as left tackle, left guard, center, quarterback. That, you know, this current starting offense has only had a few weeks to really create chemistry and get into a groove. But Baker Mayfield, as we know, was traded early in July, from the Cleveland Browns. Wasn't named the starter until a few days following the team's second preseason matchup. For a quarterback who has only been on the roster for maybe 2 months, right? And still adjusting to a new scheme. He really hasn't played too badly. He has over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The only thing that has been bad is I think the chemistry between him and Pat Affline and the ball's getting batted down because I don't even know why so many balls have been getting batted down from that point. But his flaws have shown through the first 2 games of this season, right? So keep in mind that even though Mayfield has his struggles, he still is the best quarterback for this franchise, has had since primetime Cam, or since Cam Newton has left, in my opinion, which was back in 2019. I think Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback we've had on this team since Cam has left. While this isn't the entirety of what the Panthers offensive line, I think, was really supposed to look like, before the season, but this is another group that is still trying to mesh together and develop. And we've got to understand, Akeem Ekwonu, he's going to have his struggles, right? He's a rookie. He's a first-round draft pick, but yes, he's a rookie. And those guys are going to have to develop. Guys, make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in. That's all I ask. Much appreciated. We got 19 people in here. Appreciate every one of y'all coming in and joining the live stream. It means a lot to me. I hope y'all enjoy the live streams, and I hope you're enjoying the live streams. Oh, by the way, what did y'all think about my new countdown thing I made? If y'all haven't seen it and you're just getting in here, this is what I got made for the channel. Just going to show you a little short clip real quick. I think it was pretty cool, right? Let me know what y'all think. Anyways, so back to what I was saying, though. I don't think we really have much to worry with Akeem Ekwonu. I think we should have all expected this early in his career, right? He's still quite raw, is the best way to say it, when it comes to technique and passing sets. Now, while some may argue to move him into inside the left guard to help limit the mistakes, I think Ekwonu needs to be tossed into the fire and learn along the way. All right. He has shown some encouraging flashes, guys, throughout the past 2 weeks. We can't just think he's going to be some Mr. Superstar left tackle or left guard. It's going to happen. He's going to make mistakes at left guard just like he is at left tackle. And I don't think Brady Christensen's much better. So it doesn't make sense to me to move Icky to the inside. There just has been lack of discipline on this team. That's why Jonathan Stewart said on that podcast that we have no identity. There's lack of discipline on this offense. Now, this comes from rustiness, sure. And this group is still meshing together. Now, Shi Smith had a couple crucial drops that could have led to big plays or a touchdown. Now, the snap exchange issue from week 1 was resolved, I felt like. The offensive line still struggled with some communication against the New York Giants defensive coordinator with his aggressive blitzes and heavy defense. I think this could also be, we could also be just seeing signs of early offseason jitters and misdiagnosis of the defense from the center. And I think we'll find out more coming again this Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. Now, another question I have to ask you is, why was Phil Snow dropping Brian Burns into coverage? When we need him to be rushing. This is the unit that gave up 200 yards against the Cleveland Browns a couple of weeks ago. Now, this time around, just over 100 versus Saquon Barkley. Now, I think Carolina did a much better job of squeezing the gaps and not allowing Barkley much running room. Gap integrity improved drastically, and the run fits by the Panthers linebacker corps were much more better. Was way better than they were against the Browns. Now, Frankie Luvu has become a key piece of this Panthers defense early this season. He had a monster game against those Giants on Sunday. He racked up 10 solo tackles and 4 tackles for a loss, and we still lost that game. Like, think about how he feels. Just put his heart and soul on the field and literally just gets it taken away from him. Loses the game. The secondary, however, had some inconsistencies in coverage. A couple of lapses led to the Giants' touchdown, especially the one early in the third quarter. And that ended up tying the game at 13 apiece. Now, when Carolina played with man coverage principles, J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson showed out. They played very well. So, however, there are some lack of discipline when the Panthers went back to cover 3 looks in some zone schemes. Now, as to Brian Burns and other pass rushers dropping into coverage, this has to stop. For most defenses that are looking to throw opposing offenses off balance when it comes to, I get it, trying to disengage pressure points. However, I think it's become a clear habit for Phil Snow to do so, especially in crucial situations. Dropping arguably your best pass rusher, one who recorded 2 sacks and 4 hurries in a coverage on crucial downs in a tight game, seems very unwise to me. Now, I went on Pro Football Focus. Brian Burns had only 2 coverage snaps against the Browns. When he was against the Giants, 15 snaps with 17 against the run and 24 as a pass rusher. 15 snaps with 17 against the run and 24 as a pass rusher. I mean, this just doesn't make sense. I think there was definitely a big improvement from the Panthers defense in all areas of the game against the Giants. But they were put in a situation where there was no margin for error due to the fact that the offense can't get shit going. If your offense can't stay on the field and keep that time of possession, how do you expect to win football games? I would love for you to go look at the time of possession that Carolina's had, like, overall in the first 2 games, and then go look at it and then look at the opponents. It's pretty remarkable how bad we are with time of possession. Now, lackluster coaching is affecting the Carolina Panthers. So how long is poor coaching going to be allowed to undermine the talent that we have on this roster? I think that's a great question that we should all be asking. And we've got to be pondering the same thing. I've been saving my observations for the coaching on both sides of the ball in previous questions when discussing the flaws on either end. Now, I'm just going to tell you how I think. So let's start with Ben Mcadoo. The hire was not incredibly well received by me or fans through and especially through these first two games. This offense has been very inconsistent in all areas of the offense. Play calling concepts used in certain situations have been absolutely god awful. Like makes no sense to run these plays in the certain situations that we've been in. So 1 minute it's either we're hot, next thing we're cold, then there's nothing in between. Good, bad, and the ugly. There's good, then there's bad, then there's ugly with this offense right now. The Carolinas' lack of pre-snap motion has also limited them, and especially getting explosive potential plays. Not establishing the run game has also hurt. Now, in this game, I will say, in this past game against the Giants, they definitely established the run game a lot better. Because Christian McCaffrey had his first 100-yard rushing performance in 2 years. But the final offensive series that we had, it showed that Ben Mcadoo abandoned the run game once more. Where Carolina could have ran the clock out enough to get into the end zone with not a lot of time left. Defensive coordinator Phil Snow and his players have shown inconsistency as well. So I'm done with Ben Mcadoo. Let's get into Phil Snow. All right. A lack of discipline is basically what I'm getting at here overall. But let me finish everything I'm going to say. Make sure you pound that like button, though. And let me take a sip of my aha. Looking at this comment section here. Wilkes should be DC, but Flores did okay as head coach. What's up, man? I'm just waking up from a long-ass day of work. That must have been a nice nap. The Dolphins wanted Brian to tank, and they started winning and almost made the playoffs. Yeah. It makes me wonder now when Luke retired right after Matt Rhule was hired if he already saw or knew something was not heading in the right directions. His retirement makes me wonder now. Now, Luke was retiring because he could not continue to play to the level that he was playing because he was getting injured so much. He was literally killing himself on the field, basically. His body just couldn't take it anymore. His body was just breaking down by the way he played. Literally, that's literally why he had to retire. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. This quarterback roller coaster has been bothering me, man. It feels like nobody can do shit right now. A new coach would be the best first step in the right direction. Won't fix all of the team's problems. No, it won't. But I think it would definitely help. Can't have a strong building without a strong foundation. Absolutely right. So back to the Phil Snow, defensive coordinator Phil Snow. His players have shown inconsistencies as well. And a lack of discipline. And certain situations, just like the offense. especially when it comes to potential game-sealing, game-winning drives. Now, while this defense is still young, fast, this team still on the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion, lacks true physicality, especially down in the trenches, man, and on the second level. Take Daniel Jones' game-winning clinching run on Sunday, for example. For a defense that is expected to be a great unit, they did not step up to the plate and contain the signal caller while on the move. As I've mentioned before, and I'll mention again, game management throughout and late games have been death blows for Matt Rhule as a NFL head coach in the last 2 seasons, including these first 2 games this year. This is not only falls on him, but the lack of fundamentals on both sides of the ball in crucial situations also reflects badly on Mcadoo and Snow. This isn't something that can be sustained, man. There is no discipline. There is no consistency. And when there is no discipline, there is no consistency. I will say it again. If there is no discipline, there is no consistency, which means there's no fundamentals. Then that means everybody's looking at everybody like Dumb and Dumber. Don't know what the hell to do on the field. Last and final question I have to ask you guys. So what's next for the Carolina Panthers? What is the long-term plan for the Carolina Panthers? This team has juggled process. It's like David Tepper has like an ape on. He's sitting there saying, okay, what head coach should I go after? Should I go after Matt Rhule? Yes. Okay, so we're going to go after Matt Rhule. Should we sign Sam Darnold? Okay, we're going to sign Sam Darnold. Magic 8 ball. Tell me what to do. It's basically how I'm feeling like this front office has been run. Now, the only person I'm keeping right now, if we fire Matt Rhule, is Scott Fitterer. I don't think he needs to be fired. I don't think this has to do with anything that Scott Fitterer is doing. It's coaching and the staff. That whole staff needs to be fired, but probably besides Steve Wilkes and our quarterback coach, because I think he's actually a very good coach. He just doesn't have the offensive coordinator, the head coach, and the defensive coordinator is who I'm blaming everything on right now. And David Tepper for hiring him. Right now, it's hard. So the question is what's next for the Carolina Panthers? What is the long-term plan answer for the Carolina Panthers, right? And at this point, for me, the only thing I can say is blow everything up. Put C4 on that mother and just blow it up and possibly sell the assets for an actual rebuild. And it seems like the only option. So right now, it's hard to get a grasp of what this team looks like long-term, since there is a lot of uncertainty around the head coach and this staff. So let's discuss the Carolina Panthers' next options going forward. What does this team have to do to have success this season and beyond? The obvious answer is a clean slate, man. Matt Rhule's 10-25 with the Panthers. And how we've played the last 2 weeks, 2 close losses. And this has been the name of the game for the Panthers since 2020. Rhule has arguably become the worst head coach in the NFL, and it seems to be wasting a very talented roster, in my opinion, thanks to fundamental breakdowns, mismanaging the personnel, and a lack of awareness during in-game situations. if Matt Rhule gets fired, I don't see Phil Snow sticking around, and I definitely don't see Ben McAdoo surviving either. The Panthers might be looking for a new head coach early this season. And everybody was thinking this would be the year for Matt Rhule to get this team over the hump and get into the postseason. Steve Wilkes and yes, Mcadoo would be the two coaches that could step in for the interim job. As for Rhule, potential replacements for next offseason, I expect names like Sean Payton to be thrown out there. Ken Dorsey, Brian Flores, Eric Bieniemy, Byron Leftwich, Steve Wilkes himself, honestly. If I'm missing anybody else, let me know. To assume that head coaching job. I mean, as for this roster, I think there's too much talent to give up on. They're a franchise player on both sides of the ball that the Panthers can continue to build around. While uncertainty remains at quarterback, there is a bright future from a player personnel perspective, I think. This is just one man's opinion, guys. I can tell you what I think. Do I think that these people are going to do it? There's no telling, man. The best hope right now is that Rhule can somehow turn this around in the next couple weeks. The only way Matt Rhule sticks this around is unless he can make it to week 6 and be 500. At least 5. You have to be 500. You have to beat the Saints this Sunday. Right? You have to beat the Saints this Sunday. This one's a must win. Like I said that we needed to win against the Giants. This one is a must. Like a must for him. Then you have to beat the Cardinals. Then you're 2-2, all right? So then you're at 500. But then after that, you've got to beat then you've either got to split with the 49ers and the Rams. So you got to split between the Saints and the Cardinals. Well, no. Yeah. No. You got to beat the Saints and you got to beat the Cardinals to put you at 2-2. Then you've either got to beat you have to beat one of the 49ers or the Rams. And then once you lose to the Bucs, I'm going to guess, for Matt Rhule to keep his job, I'm going to guess he's got to go on a 4-game winning streak. Be like 4-2. He's got to be 4-2 or 3-3 going into week 7 to keep his job. I mean, it is, that it is what it is. So hopefully he can turn it around. And this was supposed to be considered our easy stretch. Which is crazy. It's absolutely insane. Guys, thank you so much joining the live stream tonight. Much appreciated. Gonna do an enemy analysis tomorrow, so I will be live tomorrow evening as well. So be prepared to check me out there. Also, guys, thank you for the support, subscribing to the channel, pounding that like button, clicking that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of the live streams, any new videos I post. But I will be live tomorrow night. I think I've answered a lot of questions that maybe y'all may had, at least the crucial ones. So, and I've given you guys what I think how we can turn the season around, but I don't see it happening. So apparently Baker Mayfield though today did say that Nobody's hitting the panic button yet. Apparently he tweeted this and he said this in a press conference. And he said that it also helps that we've lost 2 games by 5. It also helps that we've only lost 2 games by 5 points. So I don't know. I think Baker Mayfield needs to figure things out quickly. Start doing enough to start earning us some wins, because that's the only way. And they're already saying if Matt Rhule gets fired, it's either going to be Ben Mcadoo or Paul Pasqualani or Steve Wilkes to take over as the interim head coach. So, anyways, guys, I hope I answered some questions. I hope that I kind of, I know I kind of go on a rant when I come on here and stuff like that. And I know you're all just coming, you're listening to me talk. But please come join the live tomorrow night. I'll do it before the Thursday night game comes on. So please come join the live tonight. I would greatly appreciate it. Or not tonight, but tomorrow night. Sorry. Come join the live tomorrow night. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you pound that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Get in the comment section, amongst yourselves. Also, go check out the brand deal. betusa.com.pa. Go check it out. It's right here, everyone. All right. 125% bonus, sign up bonus. So if you sign up, you deposit whatever you deposit, $5, $10, $25, $50, $100, you get 125 bonus off of that. 125% bonus off of that. So I put $100 in and I got some extra cash for it. So, yeah. Other than that, y'all know what to do. It'll get better. I promise you guys. Sooner or later, we'll see sunshine and rainbows, I'm hoping. But right now, I know everybody's, feels like me. Doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know what to think. Not sure where to run to. And guys, that's why I'm here. You can come chat with me and talk with me about it. I can be your football therapist or something. But I appreciate y'all listening to the live stream today. Join the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any more of these live streams and any videos that I post. Oh yeah, check me out on social media, guys. Hold on, let me hide this real quick. Sorry, Planet. Yeah, check me out on social media. You can go follow me there. You can chit chat with me there. You can shoot me a DM, slide in my DMs. But other than that, guys, yeah, enemy analysis tomorrow, live stream. Then I'll have a video coming out Friday. Gonna give you my preview and prediction for the Saints game. And yeah, other than that, as always, before I leave you guys, keep pounding.